It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theater, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim.
Hey, hey.
Hello, Jim.
Hello.
And also we have, I think I've used this one before, but I'm going to use it again because it's apropos. We have the man with the plan, the man with the power too sweet to be sour. It's the Merman. Hey, Murray.
Yabba dabba doo.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Yabba dabba delicious. Thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please support us and join the growing Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. All members get special episodes and content only for members, and all members that sign up will get a special limited edition Film Rage merch item. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible movie, which we will watch and hopefully will make us rage. Shoutouts to our U.S. listeners again, because they're kicking it and crushing it. And Canada, step up your game. Long live America.
Movies are back at Canyon Meadows Cinemas. We are open for your viewing pleasure with great new films opening weekly. All health-regulated protocols are in effect for a safe and enjoyable experience. And don't forget, we should be your first choice for your next birthday party or special event. Can't make it to the cinema? We got you covered. Order concessions from our online store, and you can either choose curbside pickup or get them delivered via Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, or DoorDash. For more details, go to canyonmeadowscinema.ca. Here at CMC, we would like to thank you for your continued support, and we are looking forward to seeing you at the movies.
Let's dance.
We've been streaming and doing what?
We've been streaming, Jim.
Even Marie did some streaming on the weekend.
Streaming.
So, we streamed something on Netflix.
Dumb.
Yeah, it was Red Notice. Red Notice. Red Notice. Stars Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds. And Gal Gadot. Talk about a charismatic cast.
Yeah, right? I mean, the triple banger right there.
That's right.
They spent a reported $200 million on it.
Thanks.
Highest budget ever for a Netflix movie.
Really?
All right. And tried so hard to make an entertaining movie, yet for all the talent and money, they ended up with a generic, glossy crap fest produced by the Hollywood machine that pumps out bland, noisy action movies. Having said this, there were a few times I laughed out loud. For example, The Rock wearing a hairnet in the kitchen when he's bald is kind of funny.
That was funny. But I wonder if he's wearing a hairnet in other places where he's not bald.
I didn't wonder that at all. And Reynolds, as expected, had a few humorous lines, but he also had a lot that were not so humorous. At the end of the day, this film was ultimately forgettable. I should have written my review right after I watched it, because what did I watch?
Red Notice?
Right.
Notice.
Red Notice. That was that glossy crap fest, wasn't it?
Yes, you're leaning towards the crap fest.
Yes. At the end of the day, as I say, this was ultimately forgettable. Did I say that already?
Yeah, but you said forgettable and not a crap fest, which leads me to believe that you're going to say this was a meh.
No. Even though I guarantee if you ask me about this in a couple of months, I won't remember anything about it, I will remember one thing.
Yes.
It was a rage.
Okay. Okay, well, there's that. Okay.
It was garbage.
Well, first off, it's a heist movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect much. But having The Rock in anything usually gets me excited. Plus, Gal Gadot, who's amazing, even if all she did was stand on the screen and smile for 2 hours. Rai, as usual, was Deadpool light, except he did have, as Bryce had already mentioned, some pretty good lines.
Couple.
He was pretty funny. The story is and was very transparent. The plot and circumstances are all unbelievable, and the heists are typical of most heist films. I laughed quite a few times because it was funny, but also how corny and dumb it was. It was on its way to being a meh. Then the ending happened and pushed me, apparently, the same place that Hitler's car was, off the edge of a cliff. There was way too many that I could not get behind. There was so many things in this that were just
stupid.
like the one that got me the most. These cars have been sitting in this thing for 70 plus
start right
years. This cars, and there wasn't just the one car.
Yeah.
It was one, and then the other 3 cars that started right after it. I'm just like, okay, yeah. That,
Lithium batteries.
oh, right, yeah. That lithium batteries weren't around in the 40s. I'm sorry.
You talked to Red Skull about that. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he invented that
yeah,
stuff.
of course, yeah. But he saved it just for Marvel movies, not for Netflix movies. It's a canned 3-way team-up heist movie. So other than a few funny ones by Reynolds and the cuteness of Wonder Woman, and just having the Rock and his huge biceps on screen was nice to see. But overall, this heist comedy buddy film did not steal my heart. It cashed its check at the Bank of Rage. At a very low Bank of Rage, but still the Bank of Rage. P.S., just for everybody knows, this movie didn't have a lot of hope of me loving it because I normally don't like heist movies. And this was very heisty all the way through it.
It was so heisty.
It was very heisty. And I don't like any part of a heist film on my body, or anywhere on my body for that matter.
I don't even know what that means, but I agree.
It was too heisty.
It was heisty.
All right. Well,
Such a rage.
yeah. Well, let's hear what Murray has to say, because it has his boy, Rai.
Well, now that Statler and Waldorf are done.
Yes.
Well, this movie didn't get out to a great start for us. We were watching it in
Yes.
our room in Vegas. Jim uses technology to actually hook it up to the big-ass TV in our
Yes.
room. And we both fell asleep. He fell asleep first.
Oh, you lucky dogs.
Well, I noticed he was asleep, then I just stopped the damn thing, turned it off, and went to bed.
But you were, okay, wait a minute,
But
though.
I was getting
you were
more-
snoring before I fell asleep.
Well, okay, point is, I was getting like
Who
3
fell
hours sleep at
asleep
night,
first?
so it was the wrong time to watch this, and I should have watched it
It's
on
the
my
sleep
tablet.
heist.
But anyway, as usual, I completely disagree with pretty much everything these two have said.
Yes.
Yes, it was predictable.
And it was heisty.
Second,
very heisty.
yes, it was full of cheesy one-liners by my man Ryan Reynolds. And 3, yes, there was some terrible CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
Yes, there
out of the
was.
way. As people know by now, I love me some Ryan Reynolds. This version of Ryan Reynolds, not the guy stuck in the coffin. I love
I
this
like the
film.
guy stuck in the car.
So do I.
It had everything that I like in an action flick. One part Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. One part wisecracking Ryan Reynolds.
I think it's Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
One part ass-kicking Gal Gadot.
Yeah. Ladies
One
who kick
part
ass and punch
exotic
dicks.
locations. Mixing
Ooh.
some treasure hunting and some fight scenes. Boom! I like to think of it as Indiana Jones / National Treasure / Romancing the Stone mashup. Is it a Mondo? No.
What?
But it is a super duper meh.
Well,
So there.
there you have it. And I'm going to say maybe it was a meh because you fell asleep.
I think if I had watched it on my own, like maybe not with you or like on the plane or something, I might have given it a Mondo. But because I had to restart the movie after I woke up.
After you rewatched the first part again, you went, maybe this isn't a Mondo.
Well, no.
If you would have watched it a third time, you might have got to where Bryce and I went.
Out, the fact that the cars started up after 70 years in the cave. Yeah, but I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah.
If I want a realism, I would watch the freaking news. I
wish I was.
I like
the news.
to see a fantasy world where stuff doesn't happen. Yeah, I liked it. So yeah,
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Good
I
for
almost
you.
gave it a Mondo.
Almost. But because it wasn't that good, he gave it a meh.
Yes, it was poopy.
It was poopy.
So says YouTube. I know people in my corner will love it. I know.
That's true. Murray has a corner.
And I guarantee it was the #1 movie on Netflix. So
Yeah.
Nobody puts
Because
Murray in a corner.
nobody puts Murray in a corner.
Right.
But you know what? The reason it is because people going, I got to know what they spent $200 million on.
I watched it and I don't know what they said. Maybe the cast, but
Maybe those cars
yeah.
and the lithium batteries from 1940.
1940 lithium batteries.
Nice.
All right.
What else did we see?
What else did we see?
We saw a movie called Tick, Tick, Boom.
Tick, tick, boom.
Yes. All right. So, interestingly enough, this movie is about Jonathan Larson,
Yep.
who most of us know from the movie Rent.
Do we really?
Yes. Well, anybody who knows the movie Rent
Well,
will know
he wrote
Jonathan
it.
Larson.
He
'cause
wrote it. He wasn't starring in it.
No, but he didn't star in it because he died before.
No, I mean, unless you're actually into Broadway, you probably might not know who he was.
Yeah. I mean, I knew a lot about Jonathan Larson because I also saw his documentary. I think
knew
he's a
nothing about
fascinating person, and this story is actually, it's a small moment in time in his life. Okay, so before we do anything, let's talk about Andrew Garfield just for a second.
All right.
Is there anything he can't do these days? He's played a gay 50-year-old televangelist,
Yep.
a pacifist war veteran,
Yep.
a mystery-loving 30-year-old,
Yep.
and he was also Spider-Man,
Yep.
right? And now a dead famous playwright,
he also-
and he can sing.
He also played the guy who got screwed over by Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he was in the
Yeah.
whatever that
The
Wonder
Zuckerberg
Games,
Chronicles.
the super,
Yeah. The Zuckerberg
the
movie.
Facebook Chronicles.
The Zuckerberg movie.
Sorry, no, what are the? Yeah, that thing.
Isn't it called Meta now?
Yeah, it's meta, just like me. Super meta. He's the whole package. Oh, yeah, by the way, this was a musical. So I wasn't expecting much outside of Andrew.
I was laughing my ass
Awesome.
off as soon as Jim sent me the link. I'm like, Jim, really? A musical?
Well, I didn't know it was a musical.
I knew it was a musical, but I was very curious.
Because Bryce just sent me a message and said, we're seeing the new
watching it.
Andrew Garfield movie. And I think he did that on purpose because he knows I wasn't looking anything
think
up.
he did.
And so I'm like, he knows how much I love Andrew Garfield. So I'm like, I'm going to watch this no matter
I'm
fucking
in.
what. Okay, so musicals and the songs in musicals, as per usual in this movie, are and were not great. They normally follow a formula of boring with no real hook and basically telling the story in singing format. I'm sorry. I just like the whole musical side of this movie. Hearing a song about eating in a deli is not anything I want to hear about, let alone hear someone sing about. Now, if I saw someone eating a sandwich in a deli, it would have been more exciting to me than listening to someone sing about someone eating in the deli. This being said, the structure of this film was done really, really well. I really liked the way they moved in and out of his soliloquy and his story and how it was done so amazingly well. I found this film very creative and enjoyed watching it. I just didn't enjoy listening to some of it. So, not common for me, but I'm giving Andy and Friends a meh. Maybe just say it's a musical. So it's a meh.
There you go.
It has no hope of being higher than
Did you
meh.
watch it, Mur?
Of course I did.
It's a musical.
And I had no idea who Jonathan Larson was. I know what Rent was. I still have never seen it.
Well, you should, because it's good. That's actually a Mondo.
The Broadway or the TV. I actually looked for the movie online and couldn't find it. It's not any of my streaming services.
Guess we know what we're getting him for Christmas.
Anyway.
Oh, sorry, Krampus.
Yeah, so in the middle of watching this, I almost texted Jim to say, a musical? Really?
Really?
Not just a musical about musicals.
Yes.
Basically the kind of film that Jim hates the most. Maybe that was the intention. Well, surprise. I really like this film. Then again, I love musicals. In case people don't know the story, this is about the guy who eventually wrote the Broadway musical Rent, which I didn't know. The film was produced by Ron Howard, directed by Broadway legend Lin-Manuel Miranda, and featured a huge assortment of actual Broadway legends.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw Bernadette Peters in there at some point.
Yeah.
It was set in the 90s at the height of the AIDS crisis. Had some intense storylines dealing with many of Jonathan's friends who were dying. And who knew Andrew Garfield could sing? Apparently, the filmmakers didn't. Until they decided to cast him. They decided to cast him and then thought to ask, but can he sing? Anyway,
He does look a little bit like him, so...
I wouldn't know. But anyway, he was phenomenal, and this film was a mondo.
All right. Bryce, why don't you tell us about what you thought of this musical? I can't tell you how excited I am to hear what you're having to say.
I'm reaching for the fader, I swear.
It's your turn, Bryce. It's now time to sing.
Are you finished? All right. So, as Murray mentioned, so basically this is a musical, but not just a musical. It is actually a musical about the making of a musical. If that isn't the recipe for disaster, then I do not know what is. Myself, I wanted to see this purely as a curiosity, as I want to witness what Andrew Garfield could do in this type of film. I do not always love every film he is in, but I can honestly say he is always fantastic regardless. I will admit that 10 minutes in, I was feeling a little antsy, wishing I had not suggested watching this. But then, as the film unfolded and I got to know the players, I became more involved with the story than I thought was possible. Garfield as Jonathan actually made me care about this selfish, single-minded, motivated, and ultimately frustrated character. This supporting cast was good as well, with the standout being Alexandra Shipp as Susan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. She was fantastic.
Yeah, she was awesome.
This was a film that had a concept that is custom made for me to rage. I mean, come on. A musical about the making of a musical.
Exactly, right?
Oh, man.
This is awesome.
Apparently, I'm not the only one that hates musicals.
This is awesome.
Yet, I didn't mind it. Dare I say, I kind of liked it. Tick, tick, boom. Did not blow me away, but it also wasn't bad. It was meh.
Exactly. Okay, so here's a question.
Yes.
Do
By the
you
way,
think...
I have never seen Judith Light ever where I've liked her.
Yes.
She was great.
Everyone was great in this movie. And who's the guy that played his best friend? Was it Michael or whatever?
I don't know his name.
He was outstanding in this too. That's a hint, by the way. But so okay, here's a thing.
Yes.
If this wasn't a musical,
Yes.
do you think? I think this could have. For me, it could have got to a mondo.
Yeah.
How could it not be? Because it was basically his one-man musical.
Well, you can make...
Like Tick, Tick,
You
Boom
could've-
was
you
a one-man
made
musical.
it with him, still make, write
Make it
the
a
music.
and don't have them
but we don't-
singing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It would have been a mondo for me. I'm almost positive. Because I love the way they did the interplay between his
It was a
one
very-
stage of like him on
well-made
stage,
movie.
and then him going back to
No, that there was some innovative stuff going on with the way they pieced this together.
Yes.
There was a lot of good stuff.
the direction was done really well. So you're saying this director, and it did feel like it could have been done on a stage actually.
Oh yeah,
Easily.
Well, it was. Tick, Tick, Boom was.
yeah. It was.
The one, it was like, it looked like it was the story of Rent, but it wasn't.
Well, a lot
It
of
was
the
similar,
themes
but
in it is
Tick, Tick,
is
Boom
from
was an
Rent.
actual musical that actually went to Broadway about his actual life.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Rent. But yeah, it was a one-man play where he's basically singing how crappy his life is.
Robin de Jesus.
Sure. Oh, yeah, it's written here somewhere.
Yep.
Hey, you have it written here.
Yeah.
You had to look it up.
Yep.
Let's not forget Alexandra Shipp, a.k.a. Storm.
Yeah.
So
Right?
Spider-Man and Storm.
She was.
Yeah,
she
Spider-Man
was
and Storm
really good.
together.
That's right.
And they had And didn't we get to see some superhero sex? Storm with
think we did.
How many
Spider-Man?
Andrew
Little bit.
Garfield Spider-Mans were there? Was there two?
Two.
Duh.
So this was like Spider-Man
Three.
Part 3.
This is
Yeah.
part 3.
Except with
but
only with Storm.
only with Storm.
So it was like a crossover.
Sure.
Yeah,
There
it's a
you
little
go.
bit of a crossover.
Well, because
that's exciting.
X-Men and Sony weren't actually like Disney.
So all the comic book geeks should be all over this.
That's
Exactly.
right.
And
Exactly.
sing their way to happiness.
Right on.
And I'm pretty sure there's a Spider-Man musical out there too. Turn Off the Dark, I think it's called.
All right.
God help us.
We've talked enough about
God
the
help us
TikTok.
all. God help us, every
saying.
one of us.
All right. Let's
All right, well, so-
move on.
Moving on.
We saw things in theaters.
That we did. Okie dokie.
Polka doka.
Dokie.
Oh, it's been a while. Okay. Jim and I were in the US of A.
Lost wages.
Lost wages. Some lost more than others. And I'm assuming Bryce saw it here at his local Cineplex.
Sure did.
Belfast. Young boy and his working class family experienced the tumultuous late 1960s in Northern Ireland, aka the civil unrest between the Catholics and the Protestants. So, Jim and I were in Las Vegas, in case you missed it. As part of our podcast duties, we had to find time away from the casinos and drinking to seek out a movie theater to see this film. Easier said than done. We did a search of movie theaters in Las Vegas. Turns out there were only two
Yeah,
in the whole city.
I know.
Yeah.
I was there.
Took a long... No, you weren't. I didn't see you.
Wow, I
No,
wasn't
he's
there.
been there before.
I was there.
Yeah, but
like,
you were there years ago. This is like 2021.
Yeah,
I guess
2021,
I
they should have
you know
20
what,
more.
It was 2 years ago, wasn't
There
it?
you
the
go.
Last time I was there.
So
Holy crap.
we took a long ride in an Uber to the extreme south end of the strip to like an outdoor mall and an AMC theater.
Yeah.
AMC is a big name. I can tell you, after experiencing the difference, I was not impressed. But I digress. So,
What are we
Catholics,
talking about right now?
the
AMC.
AMC movie experience. That's where we
For
saw the
our
movie.
U.S.
For
listeners who happen to be our
Happen to be-
biggest listening base,
They see movies at AMC.
they see movies at AMC. We're speaking to them right now.
We see movies in Cineplex. I'm just making the
And Landmark.
connection.
Okay.
Anyway,
That's right.
I don't understand.
And they also did an
That's why I
advertisement for their
said
movie club, by the way.
I digress. So now I'm back on track.
Oh.
So Catholics versus Protestant. Who knew? I sure didn't. The CLF in this film was adorable. Apparently, he was the younger version of director Kenneth Branagh. It was like his life. Basically, this was his childhood growing up. Jamie Dornan, who I only know from those crappy 50 Shades movies, was actually outstanding. Dame Judi Dench and, I don't know, Ciarán Hinds?
Sure.
Kieran Hines?
Close enough.
Whatever. Was solid as well. But the true star of this film was Katrina Balfe, who was, yes, Jim, Irish.
What a surprise.
She brought
Irish.
the whole film together as a struggling
had-
matriarch trying to raise her two boys in a turbulent neighborhood while her husband has to travel for work. Somehow she keeps it all together. Her family and her marriage. She was the true heart of this film. Admittedly, there were some slow parts to this film, and I did doze off a couple of times.
He did.
Hey,
What?
it was Vegas.
It was. And it was in black and white,
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
which
But
doesn't dazzle
It
Murray's
was still
eyes.
a great story. I actually had to give this a Mondo.
What?
That's right. I'm handing
A black and white film, and
I love
Murray's
black and
giving
white
a.
movies.
All right. You heard it here first, folks.
There
Want to
you
go, little buckaroo?
Yeah, sure. The violent events in Ireland in 1969, as seen through the eyes of a 12-year-old boy, is the premise for the latest film from Kenneth Branagh. It is a gentle love letter to a tumultuous time in history. It is a stellar cast with heartfelt performances. You can see the love that Branagh has for these characters, which makes me care for them as well. Jude Hill as Buddy anchored the project with his portrayal of the innocent 9-year-old boy being thrust into some not-so-innocent times. Jamie Dornan and Katrina Balfe shine as Buddy's parents, as does Ciarán Hinds and Judi Dench as Pop and Granny. The weight of the decisions that this family has to make are felt by all that watch this. It is an effective snapshot of time, expertly crafted with a soundtrack that sucks you right into the late 60s.
Yeah.
I loved this film, and more importantly, it restored a little faith that I have in Kenneth Branagh. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was starting to wonder if he could make a good movie again.
I never doubted him.
In short, Belfast was Mondo.
Well. Okay.
Say you, Jim.
Visually brilliant. Character development was amazing. Acting, especially between Jude Hill, Buddy, and Ciarán Hinds.
I think it's Ciarán.
Ciarán Hinds. That makes more sense. Kieran's got the aglives and the accents on it.
He's so good.
He's very, very aglived as Papa.
Yep.
And as always, Her Majesty Judi Dench, even though her Irish isn't the greatest.
No, because she's English.
The filming in black and white was a great atmospheric way to bring this story to life. Very much playing like in his earlier plays that Kenneth Branagh has worked on, in my opinion. I also like saying the word play when it comes to it. I just like the sound of the word play.
You're just veering off on some weird tangent, Jim. Get focused again. Get back to your review.
Right. Framing by the director on every shot, you could tell, was so meticulous and well thought out. Kenneth Branagh did an amazing job, and it felt, to me, a little bit like his Shakespearean stuff of old. Like, I felt like it was back with early Branagh. To Bryce's point, I've kind of fallen out of love with him a little bit, and maybe it was because I had to watch Wild Wild West again, and I reminded how bad he can actually be. This film took me on a short-term journey of a family love in a very tumultuous time. Isn't that a funny word? We've all said it. In Ireland's history. And emotions were strong. And yes, near the end, I was crying every 5 seconds. This film made me a crybaby Mondo lover. Did it tell much about really what was happening in Belfast at the time? Not really. But it did tell the story of a family's love in a time that was very scary for a lot of people, especially Protestants in Ireland at the time, and especially for a young boy by the name of Buddy, who is, as Murray said, just the most cutest and adorable little CLF you'd ever want to see. Because everybody loves Buddy.
That's right.
Yeah, this is really good.
It was so good. As I was watching it, I was just going like, "This is another movie." Like,
good.
it's funny how you can watch a movie, and as you're watching it, you go, "Okay, this movie was made for Bryce." Like it as I was watching it, I was going, "Man, I wish I was here with Bryce right now."
There was a lot of walking.
Well, there was a lot of walking, but it just like the whole atmosphere of the film. Like each one of us has an atmosphere that we know it speaks to us.
Totally see how you could watch this and go, "Yeah, Bryce can love this one."
Yep. But surprisingly, we all loved it.
We all loved it.
And you know what that means, Merman?
Well, you never gave me your rating yet.
I did. I said you weren't
said it
listening
was
to
Mondo.
everything.
I said you liked it. You didn't.
No, I let me quote exactly the words that I used, if you would like me to say them.
I need you to say the word.
Do you want me to say it again?
I want to say the word.
You already
This
said
film
it, but
made
here
me a
goes again.
crybaby Mondo lover.
Okay, I heard the crybaby part.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear the word.
That's right.
Mondo.
That's a really long one.
It's great. Mondo deserves to be longer.
That's
Does.
Let's face it.
I tell you, Jamie Dornan, I think he might have wiped the stench of that 50 Shades crap away because he was so good in
I'm sure
that.
he'll
He
find
was.
crap again after this. But
Yeah.
no, he was really
he's
good.
He's just looking for a paycheck.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see him in some better projects from here on.
And maybe Kenneth Branagh will get back
I-
to directing good
I think
movies again.
I think he really did want to show that he can
Be a serious
really act
actor?
and be a serious actor.
Yeah.
And I think this did it. I think you're going to see some good stuff from him coming up.
Yeah, and I think this one's getting a little bit of buzz too. It's got some pretty high ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot, right?
All right. So from the Mondo Belfast, we go to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Dum dum dum.
Talk about your contrasts.
That is a bit of a contrast.
Oh my goodness. Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters?
Those ghost bastards. Let's try that one more time. Take two. Ghostbusters Afterlife is a movie.
It is. Thank
is.
you. And that's Bryce's review.
That's all you need to say.
It is not a good movie, but it's a movie. It's a movie that wastes the talents of Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, and especially McKenna Grace, who is the only redeeming quality of this whole project. Grace's Phoebe was the only thing in this of note. Her performance made parts of this watchable. The rest of the film, however, completely relies on nostalgia, as there is very little in the form of a script for this talented cast to work with. There was some guy in the row in front of me geeking out every time there was a reference to the original film. If that's what you want from this, then I guess this film is for you. I just wanted a film that was entertaining, which this definitely was not. This was a rage. And not only that, it was a pain in my neck, but I'll get to that in my open rage this week.
Sweet. I can't wait.
This was total dog crap. This was one of the worst movies I've seen this year. This
Bam.
will be on my worst movies of the year. I guarantee it.
Well, we're already in the late November. So
Yeah, there's not, unless I see a whole slew of crap from here on in, it's safely cemented in my top 5, or should I say bottom 5 of the year. This was garbage.
all right. Mur, what'd you think?
Well, first,
Yes.
for all the filmmakers in Alberta and fans of Alberta-made films,
Right.
the preceding comments were those of Bryce Hollingsworth.
Sure were.
Unnecessarily. All of us.
Make a bad film, you make a bad film. Doesn't matter where it was filmed.
Anyway,
Directors and actors beware. You cannot hide from his rage.
I'm going to cut to the chase. This was a freaking mondo. CLFs were amazing. McKenna Grace stole my heart
She was
as the
good.
mini version of Egon Spengler. She absolutely nailed that role. Every time she had the glasses on, there she had that proton pack. It's like, I seriously was on the verge of crying. I really was. And she had a quirky sidekick named Podcast,
Yeah.
who was kind of funny.
Podcast was also pretty good. I'll give you that.
For those who haven't seen it, I'm going to break it down for you. It was basically the same plot as the original, but set in a small town and with the kids busting the ghosts this time. So there you go. Don't need to look for any kind of complicated storyline.
No.
There isn't one.
Just
That's
watch the
not
first one and
really
pretend they're
the
kids.
point.
Wasn't really a story.
The point is, people who love the original 1984 will love this one.
Guy in front of me was...
So there you go. See, you are in the minority here. Just to let you know. That's the only, but that's the only bad thing I'll say about this film, that it's got the plot is very basic. I had the pleasure of meeting the great Ivan Reitman and his son Jason, and I'm a huge fan of both of them.
What does that have
All
to
of
do
their
with the price
films.
of tea in China? I don't
Just
understand.
saying,
It influences his
it
opinions.
was a personal thing for me.
Okay.
The film had lots of humor, lots of ghost busting.
Did it?
I even enjoyed Paul Rudd, aka
He doesn't
the
like Paul
sexiest
Rudd.
man alive.
He is the sexiest man
Apparently,
alive.
he is the sexiest man alive.
Especially wearing those beautiful
According to
khaki
People
pants
magazine.
from
So
the movie
there.
Ghostbusters.
Although I will agree, he was kind of wasted in this because he was a teacher and basically did nothing other than let the ghosts loose. That's all he did.
He
I thought he'd be a Ghostbuster.
he
at
was the
end of it.
Keymaster. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but
He was the Rick Moranis
he was Rick
of this
Moranis, who was also useless in that movie.
movie. Rick Moranis was
And
funny though.
Carrie Coon is always superb. So yeah, I thought it was a mondo. So
All right.
there.
Okay,
So bad.
let me just clear my throat here.
Okay, let's see if we got a tiebreaker.
All right. Well, if you like rewatching Ghostbusters, but instead of the original cast, you recast them with CLFs, then you will love this movie. This was a trip down nostalgia lane with a fresh face for the 10-year-olds of today. Did we need this movie? No way. Was there some cute, fun little parts in this? Yes. But was it enough? Personally, as many of our listeners know, I hate sequels, especially ones that aren't needed. I tried to take myself back to the original to try very, very hard to enjoy this. I mean, when the first one came out, I absolutely loved that film. I thought it was original, and it had a great cast, and it was just fun. It was something that I hadn't seen before. With this film, I literally predicted every single thing that happened. The kids were cute enough, and as we've all talked about, McKenna Grace was amazing in this role, and I hope that she gets every single person in Hollywood and Alberta searching for her, because she was totally awesome. And her corny jokes were pretty good.
They were terrible. They were funny.
They were fun. They were corny, but they were cute, and she delivered them really well.
Like a kid's joke book, basically.
Ultimately, this film was for 10-year-olds. And maybe nostalgia junkies like our boy Murman.
I can give you that.
Which I am neither. So, as we like to say in Film Rage, or at least I like to say in Film Rage, it was a sequel that didn't need to be made, and it was completely predictable and almost the original story retold, so it's a rage.
Such a rage.
It wasn't good. It was really and the ending was even dumber.
Oh, the ending. I thought this can't get any worse, and then there's that ending, and I'm like, oh my god, you got to admit the ending was just a meh.
So was the original.
Yeah, well, the original had.
Did we put Marshmallow?
Actually, Murray really loved the fact that Sigourney Weaver was electrifying Bill Murray.
Now, I laughed my ass off.
He was laughing his ass off in that one.
That's a spoiler.
And that was actually pretty funny, actually.
Well, how about... Yeah, but what did you guys stay till like the very end?
Yes.
And you got the the very end, so you got the second post-credit freaking scene?
Yeah.
What? They're gonna make another one?
Oh, you don't think that they were going to make another one? People
stay home, don't buy any tickets, so that they don't make another one of these.
Or if you love movies, go see it.
Well,
go see a good movie. Go see something else.
Go rewatch the first one.
This weekend, go to House of Gucci.
No, don't go to that.
So, you know what? If they could have done anything different with the script, the fact that it copied literally the same movie.
Yeah,
they could have done. And what's his name? The Stranger Things kid. He was wasted in this movie.
Oh, totally wasted.
He was completely wasted. He's such a good little actor.
No idea who that is.
He's the brother of McKenna.
Never seen him before in my life.
All right.
What? We've seen him in a couple things.
At any rate, he was wasted.
Yeah, he was totally wasted.
And he was on drugs? Yeah, he should have been.
Exactly. And maybe he would have been able to act his way out of that. There was some funny bits in this, but yeah, overall, I didn't think it needed to be made. And the sad thing was, your buddy, Jason Reitman, in his comments about this is a fresh new take on it. I didn't even understand that the little marshmallow man came out. That didn't even make any sense in the movie.
It didn't make any sense.
It made no sense.
Why didn't it make any sense?
Well, in the original one, the giant marshmallow man was the one that they called.
Still makes marshmallows. They're in a bag.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was the thing that he thought of. It had nothing to do with the spirits. Why are these marshmallows
all of a sudden just coming out?
Ghosts.
Because the evil spirit inhabited the shelf. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
He was chasing him around the thing. There was a specific keymaster guy that's running around the Walmart chasing Rudd.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the marshmallows?
No, Paul Rudd went in there to buy stuff.
Right.
Nothing was... He didn't know the evil had gone in there.
Right.
And he didn't see the dog till after the marshmallows.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he didn't know anything was
wrong. So
who were
the marshmallows were what?
It was the evil spirit. It was like the
evil
ghost.
Spirit was in the dog that was chasing him.
It's like that red shit from the second one.
It was just something cute for 10-year-olds to enjoy.
True. I won't disagree there.
I did think it was cute that they were killing each other.
I can definitely agree. It's a whole lot better than the last one. One that didn't even
stop talking about this movie.
No, we can't.
Let's talk about it for the rest of the podcast.
Because I'm going to be talking about it again in my rage.
For the next 15 minutes, I'll have nothing to say.
We'll just bring it back up. Yeah, Murray didn't get to see the other one that we saw.
Chose not to see it.
He chose not to see it.
Well, that is too bad for Murray.
That is a little sad for poor Merman.
Well, two things that I don't like. Well, actually, I don't like tennis because of the Williams sisters. So
well, then let me talk about...
That makes no sense.
Let me talk about the Williams sisters.
I love the Williams sisters.
All right, so we also got to see the movie King Richard. Sports movies, and a biopic? And yes, this is a sports movie.
Yep.
ultimately a very sports movie-ish sports movie. But what makes this one different is it's about my two favorite athletes of all times, the Williams sisters. I know this is supposed to be the Will Smith show, but in my opinion, toe-to-toe, Ingenue Ellis destroyed him in every scene they did together. Destroyed him.
She was awesome.
She destroyed him. You cannot
him.
tell me that in every scene they were together that she was not more mesmerizing than Will Smith. You cannot say it. I dare you to say it.
I'm going to say that Will Smith was more mesmerizing.
You are crap.
I loved her.
She destroyed him. In that kitchen scene, it was like the scene from The Marriage Story,
and she scene was awesome.
She destroyed him.
Where he gets up, where they're outside at the picnic table or whatever, and the other
she destroyed him then.
Like,
but also the acting of her, she was amazing. She was amazing. Okay, I'm not going to win this one.
Arguing really
about how
she was amazing.
She was completely amazing.
But so was Will Smith.
Will Smith was very good. Very, very good.
Anyways, go on.
I still think she destroyed him in every scene. This film is about Richard Williams, but also the birth of the Williams sisters and the importance of family, doing things the right way, and of course, always stick to the plan. It somewhat follows the same stream of most sports movies, but with a spin, because normally the main character is who the sports event is about. But this is not about them per se. It's more about the dad.
Yep.
There were a few bits I did have some issues with, small issues in this film. But after listening to Will Smith's new book, which I actually bought, and I listened to him speak it on tape. Actually, it's not tape. It's on my iBooks.
People know what you mean.
I know, books on tape is geeky. It's just that catchphrase like Kleenex.
Books on digital.
Books on iBooks. And I also watched the interview with Oprah and him. I now understand this film more and felt more connected to his character based on what he was also telling me. All the crying was great. And the story of family and the importance of family is always stick together was amazing. The story, I felt, could have actually been another 30 to 40 minutes, which I don't normally say, to develop Richard and perhaps the Williams sisters a little more. But ultimately, I emotionally connected to this family and my heroes, Serena and Venus, much deeper. This may be the first time you will ever hear me say this on this podcast. I am giving a sports biopic a Mondo. And yes, I did a lot of crying all the way through this movie. I was basically crying pretty much from the moment one to the very end of this movie. I loved every single minute of this movie, except for two small parts in the middle, which I will not mention. It was a Mondo.
Perfect. Will Smith as Richard Williams is the best thing he has ever done.
Yep.
This film is the best film he has ever been in. Although he did have a cameo in Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. But this was still better.
It was a little bit better.
I thought the film painted the picture of Richard very well. The story of a man who drafts a successful plan for his two daughters to become tennis superstars before they were even born is a fascinating story. We see Richard at his best and worst throughout the film, but there's no denying his singular goal for his daughter's success. Everything he does draws a straight line to his daughters taking over the tennis world, and nothing will deviate him off that path. The rest of the cast does a stellar job as well, including a John Bernthal sighting.
Yes!
Which continues to prove
he used to be undoubted.
He was, and then he was in that Angelina Jolie Forest Fire movie.
He's been in. Bad. He chooses too many roles. He can't stay.
He was. You know what? He still chooses. I mean, this proves his track record of starring in excellent films because he's making good choices. He makes a lot of good choices. Like his batting average is like. He's got to be hitting about 900.
It's kind of like Willem Dafoe, right? Yeah. He chooses so many movies. Eventually, he's going to hit some crappers.
Yeah, but. For me, this was all about Will Smith as he shines as Richard. I'm not going to sit here and argue. Ingenue Ellis was spectacular. She didn't crush him.
Fucking crushed him.
I believe both of them are going to get some recognition.
Definitely,
when all's said and done.
Yeah. If she doesn't, I'm going to go and picket Hollywood myself.
There you go. It's a showcase for a talented actor who needs to do more films worthy of his ability. I mean, Will Smith is a good actor.
He is so invested in this movie, though.
Yeah.
Like, he produced it.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to see the interview with him and Oprah on Apple TV, you must watch it. Like,
I will seek it out now.
He literally interviewed every single person that they portray in this movie that's still alive to make this film. He wanted to make sure that the biopic part of this movie was as accurate as humanly possible. One of the things that didn't get shown in this movie, and I went and saw this with my wife, she hated him in this movie. Like, she didn't hate Will Smith and his acting. Right. She hated the character.
Yeah.
She said, this guy is a total douchebag. And I'm like, this guy's great. I totally thought...
I can see why she would say that,
yes,
though.
But if you talk to the Williams sisters, and if you've heard the interviews from them, they will tell you they wanted him. They told him to push them. And through their careers, like... I saw, he could be a dick and he wanted what he wanted because he had the beliefs that he wanted. But he kind of showed that he learned from his mistakes.
Yeah.
And that he was continuing to evolve and grow through this character, which I think was just so well put together. And it just gave me that much more respect for the Williams sisters. I've been a huge fan of theirs since day one. And I absolutely love them both.
So I'm going to get to my rating now.
Yeah, well, it's a Mondo. It's obvious. It's like, there's no question.
King Richard, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Was Mondo.
Murray, hit it.
This movie was so good.
Enjoyed it.
Okay,
Everybody
so
should watch
do
it.
you think this movie was... Because Belfast, although it's not a biopic, it kind of was, if it was a bit about Ken Branagh's
it was
film.
based on his childhood.
So in comparison, they were both Mondos from all of us who saw it.
They were so different.
It was different.
It's hard to, like... Are you asking me to, like, rank them? Which one I like better?
I'm kind of thinking which was more Mondo.
It's not fair.
Okay, so here's how I'm ranking it.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, as much as I love Belfast, I thought it was the right amount of time. In this, I could have watched another 30 or 40 minutes of it. So I'm giving it to King Richard. Like, don't you think that you could have watched that for another 30, 40 minutes?
I could have.
Yeah.
They could have.
But Belfast, I was done with. By the time it got to the end, which I think it was over 2 hours, right, Mur?
Yeah, these were both over. I think this one was like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something.
And I could have still sat there another 30, 40 minutes. Easy.
I'm not choosing between them. I love them both.
Oh, you suck.
There is a good chance they could both end up on my top of the year. There's a good chance.
Okay, so if
this was a
when we do our Academy Award this year.
Yes.
Do either of them have a chance of taking out Riz Ahmed? That's the question.
No.
Okay, just checking.
I love Riz Ahmed.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
I always hate coming off a high of a Mondo, going straight into a rage. But just like a match, I can flip a switch and just remember how I hate sequels. And that's my rage this week. I don't want to talk too much more about it, other than the fact that I am not a nostalgic person at all. I have zero level of nostalgia in my body. I like movies that I like. I don't think they need to be redone. I don't like when they remake movies. I don't like when they take movies and then make a sequel of it. I'm not even a fan, even though certain movies, as Bryce has alluded to with horror movies, lend themselves to always having a sequel. I'd rather see brand new movies. Would I have rather seen Jason Reitman do a brand new movie and not call it Ghostbusters and have it be kids that fight ghosts in rural Alberta? Absolutely. And that's my rage this week. Cool. Stop making fucking stupid sequels.
You're
That's
here. It was bum. Okay, my rage this week is...
Is it sequels?
No,
Is it Ghostbusters 4?
not directly.
Okay. Is it Jason Reitman?
No.
Oh. I give up. What is it?
My rage this week is 4DX. Some of you might ask, what is that? Well, in a nutshell, it is a torture device that you're forced to sit in while trying to watch a movie. It throws you up and down and left and right. It jerks you all over the place. It also blows cold air in your face and flashes bright lights in the cinema, all to, I guess, enhance the movie-going experience. I had no idea what I had bought a ticket for when I purchased it. I actually thought I was in Cinema 4, as there was a big 4 on my ticket.
And that it was rated X?
And I was confused when I was guided to Cinema 3.
What?
When I entered, I noticed the seats were different, and that was curious. But I didn't know
What is happening right
I didn't know
now?
what I had gotten myself into.
Wait, were you strapped in? Is this a strap? Do you go upside down? Is this like Tommy Lee's drum kit?
The curiosity.
Were you
didn't-
Bryce?
The
Were you
curiosity.
Bryce Hollingsworth in movie kit? Were you?
The curiosity did not last as the film started and my 2-hour torture session commenced. It was bad enough that I had to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, but combining it with this amusement park gone wrong made things so much worse. That is my rage. Why did they do this?
Apparently, people like it.
Well, that was your own fault.
I didn't know what I was buying.
You look a little harder.
I was
D-box is it's the rumble seat, and you actually adjust the level of the.
Oh, you can adjust the
you can
level.
adjust the level.
You can't in 4DX.
Maybe you had it set on 10, but I've been to D-box, and yeah, you
No,
can
I
no,
also
this
hate
isn't
them.
D-box. D-box is different. This is 4DX where they have 4 chairs
I've never heard of
strapped
that.
together. And it literally
okay.
is going up and down and throwing you back and forth. Like, it's literally, it almost threw me out of the chair 3 times.
Did you have a seatbelt?
I'm not talking about, I know what D-box is.
Yeah.
It's almost tolerable. This is not. This is like you're on an amusement
How did they
park
even
ride.
sell you a ticket to a couch with like 4 seats? Because I couldn't even do that.
Oh no, they have it. This is Cineplex, right? It's not
Yeah.
Landmark. Landmark doesn't have 4DX.
Cineplex. It is.
Okay, so
frickin'
did you wear a
brutal.
seatbelt? This is what I'm
No,
wondering.
there's no seatbelt.
So this is a dangerous event.
My neck is still sore. I'm considering legal action.
Can we get one of the? Can you walk around with one of those turtleneck things? Because I think you could really pull it off. I'm thinking, Murray. Do you remember that episode from what was it? The Partridge Family. Remember that? Where I think they were being sued.
I'm not as old as you.
Being sued, and the guy had the neck brace, and they dropped the book on there. I want to see that movie come out.
I mean, like every sitcom where
Yeah.
the guy's faking an injury,
And then he
has
has the neck brace on. I want this movie to happen now.
I don't like 4DX.
Yeah, I'm also not
Yeah,
liking
we're
4DX.
aware.
That's my rage.
This is it must have cost you, what,
have you actually
$50?
been- have you
No,
been- okay. Yeah, so if you...
no, this scares me. I'm
it's-
scared of the other one Murray's talking
It's
about.
horrible. No, like it violently jerks you around. Like it's not just a little subtle stuff. It's like you're on a frickin' roller coaster.
So when you were watching Ghostbusters Afterlife and they're going around the corners and it's going wee wah wee wah,
it's like
you're going like
you turn the other way, and all of a sudden you're thrown the other way, and then all of a sudden you're tilted forward, and then you're tilted backwards, and like it's going all over the place, and you got cold air blowing in your face.
why
every
is the
time
cold
you,
air blowing in
I don't
your
know. You
face?
think you're inside in the car, right?
You'd think so.
It's trying to
It's
simulate
heated.
the air. If you're inside.
Oh, if the glass
So-
was broken.
Yeah, so it's blowing the cold air in your face. and
Okay,
it's awful.
Murray,
He's obviously never been to a theme park.
Murray, we're never going to Vegas without Bryce again then,
Okay.
because apparently if we go, this will happen again, and I want to be there to see that next time.
Okay. This is not new technology. 20 years ago, I went to Universal and I went on the Shrek 4D experience.
Oh, yeah, they have all those.
It was exactly that. And it was
Disney World has a
years
million
ago.
of them. Yeah, it's true.
I'm
but,
sure Harry Potter has one now.
Oh, the Potterland?
Yeah, but yeah. Like
Potter?
Spider-Man probably has one.
It was such a rage.
Yeah.
Like, why would they do that? Why
Especially
would they torture
for someone
people?
like Bryce.
You
should have a disclaimer
to get tortured.
There you go.
Well,
it was playing at the only time I could watch it though. I couldn't go to the later one because I had time.
How many times have we seen that? We've had to see 3D movies.
I just bought the ticket for the one. I didn't know why. I honestly thought I was going into Cinema 4. I was like, there's a giant 4 on my ticket. She's like, Cinema 3. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 4. She's like, no, it's 4DX. I'm like, what is that? She's like, you'll see. And I did.
This is the happiest moment of this week for me, right?
Me too, kind of. It also explains why you hated Ghostbusters so much.
Hey, I don't know if that would have made a difference.
But wouldn't have made a difference.
We could have tolerated it if he wasn't being jerked around.
It was apropos that I was experiencing that.
The M part of our relationship was highly visible in this week's episode with Bryce taking the M position on this.
True.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Predators. Their acts are evil. We call them monsters. We say no human could perpetrate the crimes they have committed. But in truth, only human beings execute these horrific acts. And if you're like me, you want to know why. To find out, join me, Ariel Cooksey, on my podcast Malice. As a social psychologist, I dig into the psychology, sociology, neurobiology, child development, trauma, and other factors that come together to create malicious offenders. Find Malice wherever you listen to podcasts.
And nothing goes better with malice than rage. And it's Murman Minute. All right, what kind of joy are you bringing us today, Mur?
Well, I almost changed my mind after hearing you two rage about everything.
It wasn't everything.
Yeah, just the stuff that I love.
Hey. Hey,
It's
you
very
also manded one of the movies that we
disheartening.
love.
Yeah, like one. I almost raged that one just to be
Counter.
belligerent.
Now, who is that hurting, Murray? It's really just hurting yourself.
But it makes me happy.
Well, that's the important part.
All right. This week, we finally saw Ghostbusters Afterlife after
Yes, we did.
18 months of COVID
And
postponement.
if only it could have been 18 more.
Those who haven't seen it, it's basically the remake of the original, except it took place in a small U.S. town, a.k.a. Alberta. And it was Spengler's granddaughter with her teenage crew strapping on the proton pack.
She had a strap on, that's true.
So in honor of that, I present my favorite films where the CLFs did the ass kicking instead of
What?
the adults.
I have a feeling I'm going to get some Goonies.
It's a short list.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do that many. Number 1, Super 8.
Oh!
Directed by J.J. Abrams, produced by Steven Spielberg. Two of
Yes.
my favorites. Set in the groovy 70s, starring a bunch of teenagers just trying to make a zombie flick when they witness a train crash. Predictably, the adults don't have the first clue how to handle what happens next, except to start shooting at stuff.
Super 8's so good.
It takes this
It's super.
Super 8 Scooby Gang to crack the mystery and make first contact. Loved it. Next up,
As did I.
as Jim mentioned, Goonies. Of course, this is on the list.
Yes!
Written by Spielberg and Chris Columbus. Directed by Richard Donner. A huge cast of soon-to-be movie stars. Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Robert Davi, Martha Plimpton, and Joe Pants. A group of young misfits called the Goonies discover an ancient map and set out an adventure to find the legendary pirate's long-lost treasure. Plus, extra points for a cool Cyndi Lauper theme song.
Yes!
Next up, we have Kick-Ass. Ooh. I know, Nicolas Cage was in it.
And
We're
he's
ta-
fabulous.
We're talking about Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
12-year-old hit girl who swears like a sailor and kills more people than Rambo.
She's a little lady who kick asses and punch dickus.
I believe she fits the description of ladies that kick ass and punch dicks.
She is.
I believe she did both. Next up, The Lost Boys. You know I was putting this on the list.
Of course.
So there were some adults and some overgrown adolescents in it. It was Corey Haim and the Frog Brothers that actually battled the vampires in this one.
Nice.
Finally, in honor of the holiday season coming up, Home Alone.
Home Alone.
8-year-old Kevin McAllister fights off 2 inept burglars trying to break into his house. True classic, though there is now apparently a remake.
There is.
Come on, how many 8-year-olds do you know that can outwit bad guys? Ho, ho, ho. That's all I got.
What was the line he uses from that movie?
Ah!
Yeah, that one. No. So at least...
I believe it was from the movie he was watching. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas, you filthy animal.
Yeah, that's it. Merry
That was
Christmas.
the second one, I don't remember.
Merry Christmas, you filthy
Can't wait
animals.
for them to come on TV again. I watch them every year.
Good. Yeah, Murray's got the softest heart with the most rage
That's
of anyone
right.
I
Either that or
know.
he's a glutton for punishment.
He is
That's
also that.
true.
My cockles are warmed again. I love when Murray warms my cockles.
Love warm
All right,
goggles.
apparently Adam's taking the lead on this one.
Apparently, because last
Apparently,
week,
I was
this is now
told-
2 weeks ago, by the
I
way.
was told that I said I had seen Underground
You
Vampire.
did, and if you listen to our last
Maybe
podcast,
I thought you were talking about War with
no,
Grandpa.
because we talked about that
I
too.
guarantee you, I never saw this movie.
Yes.
Ah.
But the important thing to know
The cheese
is the
becomes
reason
more binding.
the cheese.
But I
becomes
did,
more
I did
binding.
see it and paid $5 to watch it.
Right on. Okay, so just so everybody knows, for who are listening to our podcast today and didn't hear last week's episode, first go stop the podcast.
watch
Go
it.
listen to last
Listen to the one.
week's where, well, it was actually 2 weeks ago, but our last episode where we talked about James Caan
Yes.
and how we believe he should be doubted because the movies he's putting out are terrible.
They're awful.
So the discussion came up because Bryce and I both saw this movie and we both gave it a rage. And Murray was like, I remember loving this movie. And then he was like, but we had to see if he loved it or if it's so. Here's the thing.
I must have been
If
in Vegas
Murray,
party mode already.
if Murray gives this a mondo, James Caan can't go on to the
On the
doubted.
doubted list, yeah.
If it gives it a meh, then Bryce and I have to start watching some more movies. So,
I hope
Murray,
I hope you love
please
this,
tell
Murray.
us
You're giving me
about.
motivation here.
I know, but just be honest, Murray. It's all about honesty here.
Okay.
We always tell the truth. We're truth tellers.
First of all, I did not hate this movie.
Okay,
Yes,
but did
there
you
were
love
some
this
cheesy
movie?
parts in it. Two things.
Two things.
First thing, I love James Caan.
So do we.
He's actually in one of my favorite TV shows of all time called Las Vegas, where he plays a former CIA agent who runs a casino. And he beats up people with his bare hands. Sound familiar? Yeah. Same kind of character as this movie. Except he's a little more senile apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But despite all the,
that sounds awful.
It
undercover
does.
spy hijinks and stuff, to me, it was, in essence, a story of a boy and his grandfather.
Okay.
Second thing is,
Still sounds awful.
after my, well, let's just say not pleasant father left my life, my grandfather raised me. So I have a very soft spot when it comes to a boy and his grandfather,
Aw.
which is what I saw this movie as. The question that you're asking me, is it a mondo? Is it worth the $5? No. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought there were some funny parts, and I gave it a meh.
I think maybe you liked it more than that.
I may have liked it. I didn't give it a mondo, though.
Are you sure you didn't really
I
like
think
it?
you want to give it a mondo. You should
Are
just
you sure
go
you
ahead
don't want to
and
give
do
this
that.
a mondo?
No, I think I want to make you guys watch all the James Caan movies.
Then you're going to have to suffer, unless you're watching them along with us, to actually have us go through them.
You do that
Okay, so let's
It will not
recap.
change my
Bryce, you got
opinion.
this written down.
at all.
Queen Bees for both of us was a rage. It was a meh for Murray.
I loved it.
You gave it a meh. You did not give it a
Doesn't mean I
mondo.
didn't love it.
You still gave it a meh. Then he's on a movie called JL Family Ranch,
It's gotta be like it's gotta be
The
like
Wedding
a
Gift.
Hallmark movie or something, made for TV Hallmark.
still
There's
a-
no way that was released anywhere.
There's a colon involved here.
Yeah,
And it's going to probably be yours and my colon, if you know what I'm saying here.
it's making my colon do some work.
Yes, exactly. Then he was in a movie called Out of Blue, which I have seen now, and it is a rage. Then he was in a movie called Con Man.
I have seen, and it is a rage.
Okay. Undercover Grandpa is a meh for Murray, so we don't have to watch that.
Yeah.
Because the best we're going to give it is a meh. It's never going to make it to a mont.
No.
It's possibly going to be...
Rage.
So we're at Holy Lands. How many is that?
Holy Lands, if you're counting the Hallmark movie, which I don't know
We
that
should.
be. Oh, yeah, well,
Let's count it. We don't have to
this will
watch
be
it.
6 back.
Okay, so Holy Lands is 6.
Yeah.
Then we watched The Red Maple Leaf, which was the biggest rage that he's ever been in, which is 7. So I'm thinking what we should do is watch JL Ranch, the first one.
What's 8 back? What's before
That-
Red Maple Leaf?
It's JL Ranch, the original. There's no colon involved.
Okay.
It's not a colonoscopy. It's just JL Ranch.
Okay, so if we watch...
So if we watch JL Ranch and it's a meh, that makes sense because the Red Maple Leaf is a rage. Okay, I don't think it's going to be a mondo.
Okay, Rage...
I think we watch Holy Lands
Yeah,
from 2017.
Holy Lands.
Is that 8 movies back, 2017?
2017 is 6 movies back, but
He's
we
made
watched
6
7.
movies in 4 years?
We've watched 7th movie back, which is the Red Maple Leaf, and JL Ranch. We don't think we need to watch.
Where was Pregoland? That's one I remember enjoying.
Which one?
Pregoland. It
Oh,
was
that's
their
way
festival.
back there.
Maybe that far back.
It's
that's
2014.
okay. Yeah,
Then he
but-
was in The Throwaways, a TV movie called Wuthering Heights, Sicilian Vampire, which sounds terrible, The Good Neighbor, Good Enough. Murray, this is what we're trying to tell you. He's
Oh my
picking a lot of
God.
terrible movies. Okay, we are going to watch Holy Lands.
Okay. I don't want to watch Holy
You
Lands.
guys do what you want. I still like James Caan.
And it's available on Prime. So there we go.
Okay.
Murray,
You asked my
we are
opinion.
not
You
saying...
asked my opinion.
What
Not
don't you
saying-
understand
We're
about
not
this?
saying we don't
We're
like
not
James
liking...
Caan.
I love James Caan. I just don't like the movies he's picking.
He's like 80 years old.
So
Let him do
what?
he
He's
wants.
still... What, you're saying he's senile?
Let him do what he wants.
No, but he's putting movies out for people to watch.
Then don't watch him.
We have to. We have to
have
tell the
to.
We
world.
have to
No,
because,
you don't.
because you went and gave this other piece of crap a meh.
If you would have raged on it, which you probably deserved.
That I never would have done.
Holy.
Never would have done.
Because I love James Caan. He's my buddy.
Holy Lands. And it's on Prime. All right.
Alright.
Now, was there anything from this week that we want to add anybody on to? Mesmerizing, perhaps?
Because that list isn't long enough already.
It's true.
No, let's not do it. I think we should put a kibosh on the mesmerizing for a while.
Okay.
We'll come back to it.
Unless it's completely obvious to all of us.
It's still... Okay, unless there's something that's like, completely obvious to all of us. Okay, that's fine.
That's agreed.
But
Anything we should look at for Undoubted? Like, should we go back and look at Kenneth Branagh's films?
Oh, it's not going to be Undoubted. His stupid train movie has been...
Oh, yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express was
I liked
definitely
it.
in his last 8, and it was a rage.
I liked it.
Did you give it a Mondo, though?
I don't remember. We weren't doing podcasts back then.
Yeah, well, nevertheless, it was a rage.
It was a rage, so he can't be Undoubted.
Yeah.
That's too bad. Well, he's
talking
starting
about-
off fresh.
You're talking about his acting skills. He's a
No.
director,
No,
too.
we're talking about the movie.
The directing.
You
talking
got to
about
separate the movie, from the director, from the actor.
Well, we had directors and actors on our list. But
Yes,
for different things.
it's right. Murray's correct to a degree.
Taika
Yeah.
Waititi's on there twice.
Yes.
An
Yes.
actor and
No,
director.
no. But it's the movie that he's in, or it's a movie that he's directing.
No, but Murray's question is valid
I'm
because
talking
Murray's
about the
asking:
movies he directs.
Are we judging him on his
He
direction
wasn't
or
in
his
Belfast.
acting?
He directed it.
We're talking the directing.
Okay, but Murder on
Yes.
the Orient
Yes, he was
Express
in that.
was in it, and he directed
Yes,
it.
but he doesn't do that for every movie.
And it was a rage. No.
But it was a rage.
So he's
it
he's
doesn't
not on
matter.
either. So he's not on either, is what we're saying.
What I'm saying is that other people have separate, like Ben Affleck as a director, Ben Affleck
Yes.
as an actor.
Yes. So
Yes.
in this case,
But if
he cannot
happens
be
to
on
direct himself, then
and
that gets him off both,
both
lists.
as
or
an
puts him
actor,
on both lists.
as an actor or
Move on. You've
a
been here 2
director.
hours already.
Well, it's only just over an hour. And we haven't even got to the good part yet. Although, I do have to admit, Murray watching movies about grandpas did touch my heart a little bit.
Thanks.
Okay. What's up?
We're in Rage or Dare now?
Yes, we're raging.
All right, then.
And we're daring.
And that's me again.
That is you again.
Last time I Rage or Dare, both Jim and Bryce pulled from my ice creamy bag of goodness when they pulled the 2010 comedy Due Date. This week, Bryce will have to go deep into Jim's bag of sheer torture. Check in with Jim first to see if Iron Man and the Dum from the Hangover movies make a good road trip buddies, or if Robert Downey should stick to superhero movies and let Zach go back to playing piano. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Bryce.
Due Date is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles without as many laughs and nowhere near the heart. It was, however, despite its flaws, an entertaining movie. Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis had some laugh-out-loud moments peppered throughout. The film breezed along, and despite a few scenes I personally would have cut, it was funny. The road trip comedy had some memorable characters played by the likes of Juliette Lewis, who I typically don't like but liked in this, and Danny McBride, who was very good. I laughed quite a bit, and it even had a masturbating dog. What's not to like? Other than its ending that was a little thin, as there's no way these two would become friends after all this, and a few scenes that needed to be, kind of cease to exist. Nevertheless, this was funny, which despite its flaws, makes it meh.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what it's really about. First off, I felt real uncomfortable seeing a BlackBerry being inappropriately referred to as a device that could be used to activate a bomb. So right off the start, I'm not too happy. Just saying I miss my BlackBerry is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Second off, buddy driving movies, aside from biopics and musicals, are my third worst favorite movie because they're all annoying. And this was no exception. So, just like our friend Ryan Reynolds, Tony Stark, a.k.a. Robert Downey Jr., and Zach Galifianakis are very much people who have a tendency to have one note in their films that they're doing.
True.
And this is a cookie-cutter buddy driving movie.
Yep.
Except, as Bryce had said, without any heart.
That's true.
Substituted for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Downey is Steve Martin and Galifianakis is John Candy.
Yep.
Or maybe the film Tammy, where Robbie is Susan Sarandon and Zach is Melissa McCarthy. Or maybe Thelma and Louise. But this time, Robbie is Gina Davis and Zachy is Susan Sarandon. I think you get my point. The film idea is way too overdone, and this film adds nothing new to this stupid genre, except the fact that nothing other than the masturbating dog was funny. It was just mean and unlikable through the entire film. Robert Downey is annoying, and Galifianakis is funny at times, but basically this film is like every other buddy driving movie, trying to make one person a dick and the other person to be an idiot. And then they fall in love, and everything is rosy and fine, and it's so great, and the movie was so fantastic. It was barf. This had maybe, and I'm saying maybe is a strong word, 5 funny moments.
Oh, it had
And
more
granted, Juliette Lewis and Danny McBride were 2 of those moments.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'd rather watch Thelma and Louise, at least at the end of that, They drove off a cliff. This movie was a terrible, terrible rage. Murray's ice creamy bag of goodness was an ice creamy bag of torture. I hated everything about this movie except for the masturbating dog, Juliette Lewis, who in my opinion is mesmerizing, and Danny McBride, who's always funny. This was terrible. I hated Downey in this.
Wasn't that bad?
I hated his character. Nobody would ever... I mean, they really painted Zach Galifianakis as a complete moron. And it's like, I hate when they do that, because he couldn't have actually survived to have any money if he was that big of an idiot and all he did was smoke cannabis all day. It was just dumb, and it was actually mean-spirited. The jokes weren't funny, they were just mean-spirited.
There was some mean-spirited.
It was
jokes
all
in there.
mean-spirited.
It wasn't all mean-spirited.
He was terrible to him.
But yeah, it was meh.
It was awful. I don't know how you could have liked. No, this was awful.
I loved Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I love Trains, Trains, and Automobiles. That was kind of one of the only first buddy movies that I ever watched that I actually liked.
Yeah, and this
was great.
This was the same movie.
Those aren't pillows.
And
with no heart.
I'm offended you even mentioned those two movies in the same breath.
Well, it's a buddy movie, Murray. They're going to be tied together.
Oh, their similarities don't like.
Oh,
They
God.
just don't stop.
Yeah.
This is
Literally, Steve Martin.
the same movie.
This is the cookie cutter example of a buddy movie where one guy's a dick
Not
and the
well
other
done.
one's stupid, and then it's just annoying.
But I laughed enough. It was meh.
No, it was a complete rage. Thank you, Murray. As usual, you give me really good S when I take the M.
And thank you, Murray, because I forgot that I kind of liked it the first time, and I laughed again.
Congratulations, you just inherited a copy of it.
Excellent.
All right, Bryce is pulling from my tasty bag. Take the little ones; they're chock full of vitamins and goodness.
Just a little one.
This is a baby. Bryce will be seeing the movie.
Fantastic Four, 2015. Is that which one is that? Is that the
sounds
one
like a
with
remake.
what's her head, or is that the remake?
Yeah, it's the remake.
It's not the Jennifer Alba. Is that her name?
No, it's the one with
Is that her name?
Michael
Jessica. Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba. Yeah. No, it's with Michael B. Jordan, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Well, the Jessica Alba one's worse than the Michael B. Jordan one, I think.
Not really. No.
Really?
You're not going to like either one of those.
No, you're not.
No.
I've seen it. I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
That's why you
There's a
don't remember
reason.
I don't think it's going to
Okay, so which year is it? 2014.
2015.
2015.
What year was Silver
Yeah,
Surfer?
I'd hate to watch the wrong
No,
one.
he's
and
in
then
the
have to
second
watch it
one
again.
of the Jessica Alba ones.
No, but the remake was with a whole new cast.
Yeah.
What year was that one?
Yep, that's this one, 2015. Fantastic Four. I can't believe that was already 6 years ago.
Yeah,
Yes.
not that long ago.
Huh. Who knew? Should we tell you who's in this so you can be prepared? We can know that we know the actual actors.
Sort of remember, because I remember it was miscast, pretty much all of it.
Really?
Yeah.
It had some. I think it might have had some weird casting. Now that I think about it, but maybe not.
Okay,
Who's in
so Miles Teller's in it.
Yeah.
Kate Mara,
Kate Mara. Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
Jamie Bell,
Yeah.
Toby Kebbell, Reg E. Carthy, Tim Blake Nelson,
Tim Blake Nelson's always good.
yeah, Joshua Montez, Dan Nutella, Dan's Castanatella.
You mean Homer Simpson?
Yes.
Even I know that name.
Anyway.
Delicious Nutella.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I got no problem watching that. I think
Yeah.
it'll be all right.
You're gonna hate it.
We'll see.
Here, paste that on your
Yeah.
Nutella. Have some of that on
You
your
just taste it
Nutella.
where the sun don't shine.
That's right. Have some Nutella.
All right.
All right.
Done.
Done.
Still
Well,
don't think it was my turn, but whatever.
it's always your turn. Just remember that.
That's what I know.
Thanks, Rage, for listening. Super Rage love for our members. Julene from It Goes Down in the PM podcast. Go and check out her podcast if you get a chance. James and Philip for their continued financial and moral support. We love you guys. Thanks for keeping us going and keeping the lights on in the Film Rage studios. Thanks to extended Film Rage crew of Leonard Conlon, Bex Goose, Tony, and Nat for their artistic contributions to our show. You can find their homes on our show notes, so go check those out because we got lots. Thanks to our sponsor, Canyon Meadows Cinemas. Please go and support your local independent cinemas near you, as they always need your help as we come out of COVID. Find us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Film Rage YYC. Follow us on Audea, AUDEA.io. and search Film Rage YYC for bite-sized film reviews. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site. And I think everything's on Black Friday right now, so go shopping for Christmas and buy yourself some Film Rage merch. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please make us rage. That's all we're asking. Please. Please. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.